It has almost become undeniable that Arthur Ford from Boneworks is one of, if not the most influential characters in VR gaming. With the exception of Alex Vance from Half-Life, Arthur Ford is the only character whose home game has completely broken what we thought the medium could be. And on top of being groundbreaking, Boneworks is one of the most fun games you can play in VR today. And a lot of that fun comes down to all the different things you can do in the game that you can't do in any other VR game. Not only does Boneworks have an assortment of different guns and melee weapons for the player to use, but the game's physics engine means that these weapons can be used however the player sees fit, turning the weapons into tools for the player's own brutal imagination. This means that Arthur Ford from Boneworks has an infinite amount of different moves and abilities he can pull off. There is no set swinging animation for a sword or a baseball bat. It's the player's job to pick up those weapons and decide what to do with them. But what if we took the player out of the equation and just looked at Ford himself? Just from what we've learned in the game's minimal story and a few voice lines, Arthur Ford has managed to gain a cult-like following for his character, which escalated him to become the most iconic thing about Boneworks. Anyone who finishes the game and witnesses Arthur's many weird clones can tell you how memorable they really are, even if they don't understand their purpose or reason for being there. And part of what makes them so iconic is their many weird voice lines. Whether out of context or in context, Arthur Ford and his many clones have some of the most quotable voice lines in any video game I have ever heard. Phrases including,
"What up, son?"
as well as,
"You just got monkey bunk."
and also not limited to,
"I hope I can walk like that someday."
makes Arthur Ford one of the most memorable characters in VR gaming. Which begs the question, how can he get the recognition he so deserves? Well, my answer? Let's bring him as a representative of VR to the Video Game Hall of Fame, otherwise known as Super Smash Bros. Which brings us to the meat of today's video. I did the real big brain work in deciding how Ford should be represented in Super Smash Bros. And allow me to start by getting right into the move list. Starting with A as a regular punch jab. Press it 2 more times to get 2 more of the punches. Press it 3 more times to finish with an uppercut. Up tilt would be an upward hook. Side tilt would be a normal hook. Down tilt would be a hook toward the ground. His neutral B attack would be a shot from the M1911 sidearm. Similar to Joker, if you continue to press B, the gun will continue to fire. Side B would be a forward swing with the wrench melee weapon. Down B would be a downward sledgehammer smash. If this were in game, it would have the potential to burrow enemies. His up B would use the balloon gun, which instead of attaching balloons to objects would produce them out of its barrel and act like the villagers' balloons, except you make more by pressing up B. Neutral air would be a double-sided axe swing that goes all around. Forward air would be a frontward baseball bat thwap. Ford's back air would be a swing of the Nordic axe backwards. Up air would be a poke with the claymore sword upward. Down air would be a downward poke with the shovel. Side smash would be a sideward punch with the power puncher. Up smash would be an upward burst of fire from the automatic rifle. Down smash would be a downward burst with the Uzi. His grab would be a normal grab, and his pummel would be repeated punches to the face. His up throw would be an upward toss of the enemy. His back throw would be a backward toss of the enemy, and his front throw would have him chuck his enemy across the stage. His down throw would be a downward frying pan slam to his enemy. Considering one of the main mechanics in Boneworks is picking up any object and tossing it around, Ford's throws should be some of his most powerful attacks. His final smash should start with him nimbusing across the screen, throwing up enemies as he goes. He then proceeds to power punch the enemies into the ground. Then he proceeds to pummel enemies into the ground using the developer manipulator and a monomat machine. Enemies above 100% would get KO'd and those below would get launched. Up taunt would have Ford pull out a Ford head and say, "What up, son?" Side taunt would have Ford put on the king's crown and say, "Dukes up!" Down taunt would have Ford do his iconic dance while saying, "You just got monkey bunk." Ford's victory pose would have him sling a crablet around his shoulder and turn around. This is a reference to this piece of official art of him. And that concludes my Boneworks Arthur Ford Super Smash Bros. Concept. Before I finish the video, I'm going to say a few things. First of all, I'm fully aware that Ford from Boneworks has a 0.0001% chance of getting into Super Smash Bros., with the only quality he has that improves his chances being the fact that he's a video game character. I decided to make this video because I was thinking about which character I would really want in Super Smash Bros., which then got me thinking about some of the best games I've ever played, and one of the first games on that list was Boneworks. In the very small chance that anyone actually sees this video, just know that the only reason I made this was out of passion for the game. And also it sounded like a really fun idea considering I was very bored, but if you stuck to the end of this video, really consider subscribing as I plan to make more Boneworks content in the future. I don't have anything else to say, so peace out.